G'day fellas, and welcome to a very special casted game. Today, did you guys see that little scout hop that we just saw at the beginning right there? That was impressive. Today we've got a special game because, not necessarily because of the game, but because of the banter that we're about to have. We're about to have some good times. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get into it. Before we talk about our banter, let's get into the game and introduce our players for the day. Spawning in the south side of the map in the color yellow, playing as the Holy Roman Empire, we've got Valdemar, aka the Kid. And on the north side of the map in the color pink, playing as the Rus, the pink Rus, representing Team Elephant, it's Louis MT. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Highview. It is a pleasure to have your company today, and let's talk a little bit, because you may have noticed things have downgraded a little bit. I'm feeling a little bit naked at the moment. I don't have my UI. Normally I'd have like a beautiful little yellow UI around the top side here. Normally there'd be something covering up all of this kind of UI down here, and we'd be running in 4K, and the graphics would be a little bit nicer, the FPS a little bit higher. But when you're traveling, look, beggars can't be choosers. You guys see there was a little bit of a spike right there. Now you might be wondering, Drongo, you're playing on a Mac. Well, how do you guys know I'm playing on a Mac? We'll have a look here. There you go. There's some volume and control on your screen. I'm on a Mac. How am I doing this? I don't know if you guys have heard. This is not an ad, a hashtag ad. But I'm using GeForce now. I don't know if you've heard about it, but it's basically just like I'm renting a GPU, a computer from Microsoft, and they're allowing me to play Age of Empires 4, and I'm just kind of streaming it like you would a game, but all of the inputs that I'm doing are live and seem to go pretty well. So that's what we're using at the moment. So we're doing a little bit of a test here. First and foremost, I want to know if the quality is up to speed for you guys, because as I said, I am traveling at the moment. I don't have my setup that I would normally have. So this is what we've got. Let me know if you like it. Let me know if you don't. If you don't, fine. I just won't post any content. If you don't mind it, well, keep on watching the videos, I guess. But I guess I should say there's going to be a bit of a blend of content that will be coming out. So before I left Australia, I recorded a whole bunch of content, which you guys will be seeing uploaded all the time. And I think in total it was about 60 videos that I did before I left. So it should cover me for a while. But I figured, you know what, I might get on there, do a little bit of recording, get you guys up to speed with things and see how you're doing. So anyway, I'm traveling at the moment. I'm using a Mac as the main PC, and I've got like I brought my microphone with me, and I've been hooked up by a guy by the name of Jerome. He's hooked me up with a monitor and a keyboard and a mouse pad. It's been lovely. He's been really wonderful. But anyway, let's get into it. Let's talk a little bit about this game, a little bit about this matchup, because obviously, if you're unfamiliar with these two players, two of the best players in the world. You've got Valdemar, the Kid, young gun, coming out of Germany, fighting hot, started off in the Gold League, made his way up slowly and steadily, and now he's taken on Louis MT, one of the best players in the world. We saw this guy recently. What did he end up finishing? I think 3rd or 4th in a tournament, up against Marine Lord and Beastie and Puppy Paw, all these big names, and he still managed to pull out. It was either a 3rd or a 4th, I can't remember, but incredibly talented player. So if you thought they didn't need an introduction, I've just gone ahead and given them an introduction, so now that they've got an introduction. But when it comes to the matchup, these two civs are going to be oriented around relics largely. I think the big question is going to be about how many relics Louis can deny away from Valdemar. Relic positioning, do you guys hear that? Like a little bit of an electronic sound? I heard that as well. Now, this is something I've been trying to deal with, but the truth is I can't seem to get rid of it. I can't seem to shake it. It's something to do with GeForce Now. I've been looking around with GeForce Now as well, because my wife, originally, so she's been in Australia for a long time, but originally she's from the Philippines. So that's where I am at the moment. I'm staying in the Philippines. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to try and use GeForce Now in the Philippines. It's a whole shebang, because unfortunately, I've only got a 20 series graphics card that I can borrow off them. Back in Australia, I was using GeForce Now to practice, and I had a 40 series. And I was like, yeah, this is great. You know, everything was running smoothly. But here, yeah, they haven't hooked us up. I guess they probably did the market testing, and they were like, you know what, Australians probably want a 4090 so that they can play Cyberpunk 2077 on max graphics and get the ray tracing. And then I guess for the Filipinos, it was just like, yeah, these guys just want to play Dota 2 on the lowest possible settings. Yeah, 2080s will do. And I guess that's probably what's happened. Anyway, age ups come through. Valdemar with a 440 timing, a little bit late here on this age up. That's pretty damn late. Not as often as you'd typically see for the Holy Roman Empire. Normally you'd see them a little bit earlier up. But one thing to note is that we do have a second TC on board today. So normally what we would be seeing is, you do see a bit of a mix, a bit of a blend when it comes to the Holy Roman Empire in general. having that ability to go into the second TC, but more of a priority on going Castle Age. Now, when it comes to the Rus, we've obviously got the potential for a second town center. I suspect it's been placed down somewhere. I mean, looking at Louis right now, he's got 37 stone in the bank, but he's only taken a little bit off this. I remember seeing earlier that he had a whole bunch of vills out here, so I'm not sure what the plan was for Louis originally. Let's take a look and see inside the base, because it doesn't look like there's any production that's down at the moment. A little bit curious. Now, another thing to note as well is that normally I can actually hear my own voice in my headset. I can't actually hear it right now. So I can see my little meter going up and down, but I don't know if I'm getting too loud or if I'm getting too soft. So any feedback you've got, please let me know. When it comes to like graphics and stuff like that, or if you've got any other suggestions on alternatives that I can use, have a look at this. Out of everyone who's walling, it's actually going to be Voldemar that's walling up the relics, looking to deny them away from Louis. So if we ride on board with Voldemar at the moment, I'm going to try and get on board with his perspective. You can see the scouts in the base, and he's got quite a decent sight on this gold. The only thing to note is that the gold's only got 100 taken off it, so he should realize that his opponent's probably not going to be hitting castle anytime soon. But with this many vills on the gold, that's what's sort of tipping him off that, hey, maybe my opponent's thinking about going Castle Age. I need to wall these relics in so that he's not going to be able to take them. But it looks like a little surround going to be coming through here. It's important to note it was a double scout opening for Voldemar as well. So it will mean that he's going to have this second scout to fall back on. But ideally, you just don't want to lose any of your scouts. And you hate to see it, but unfortunately, it does go down at the end of the day. But let's check in over on the other side of the map, though, and see how he's doing. As not only is he looking to throw a town center down on the gold, but we also have a tower coming up on the gold as well. A little bit of an attempt to take down the walls. I've just realized I don't have my hit bar points, my hit points for, well, I'm assuming it's for anything unless I've got it clicked on. So probably something I'll need to fix up there. But yeah, age up slowly coming through here for Louis. We can see that he's gone for the single town center. So realistically for Louis, he's just pretty much gone 1 TC naked fast castle. I'm curious if he goes for Abbey. I mean, this is obviously like one of the best spots that you could possibly throw down the Great Gatehouse, the Great High Trade House. Oh my lord, man, it's been too long. It's been too long. Don't worry, I'll get it. The High Trade House. That's it. It's the High Trade House. What was I thinking of? The Great Wall Gatehouse? Yeah, the Great Wall Gate. Okay. You know what? It's been too long. I'll be honest with you guys. I've been playing a lot of Civ lately. Oh my lord, dude. You know, I used to play a lot of Civ back in the day. I used to watch a whole bunch of Potato McWhiskey. Yeah, he does go for the Abbey of the Trinity. I thought that this would be coming through, just seeing that his opponent's gone for 2 TC, knowing that he would have this tempo advantage, that he could just rush the landmark. But yeah, I used to watch a whole bunch of Civ 6 and play a whole bunch of Civ 6. I think I got like 1,000 hours on it or something like that. And on the plane, on the trip over, I didn't get much time to myself, about 10 minutes to myself, and I was playing Civ 6 because it's compatible with Mac. And I tell you what, man, it bites you like the plague, dude. And every single day since, you know, I've been on holiday kicking back, and I just can't help myself, man. I'm just one more turn. I can't stop myself. It's so much fun, man. And they've updated the game a whole bunch since I played it. You know, they've got all these new leaders in. It's a lot of fun. I love playing Civ 6. I love watching Civ 6 content as well, because I feel like with Civ 6, like with Age of Empires 4, I guess it's somewhat similar, but I feel like I live vicariously through the people that I watch. Like whenever I'm watching like a Potato McWhiskey game, I'm like, okay, this is a crazy spawn that he's got. I could try and run this spawn or try and like find a spawn similar to it. Or I could just join his Discord and like get the seed for it. Or I could just watch how he plays it. And I feel like I get all the dopamine that he gets when he does those things. I'm like, yeah, get the insane yields on the holy site. Woo, yeah. Anyway, let's talk a little bit less about Civ and a little bit more about Age of Empires, as we've got the age up that's come through, and a whole bunch of horse archers are now starting to come out for Louis. Take a look at this triple archery range. I feel like I'm watching a game from like 2 years ago. Do you guys remember how common this used to be? We'd see one town center coming out from Roost players. They go fast castles straight into a whole bunch of horse archers, always going up with the Abbey of the Trinity. The only difference was that they would go into professional scouts, and we haven't seen that, or at least I don't think we've seen that just yet. Let's just make sure. Yeah, we haven't seen it just yet. But it could come out. Now Horse Archer is going to start moving out. Keep in mind that Voldemar's also got relics that are walled in, and it might not seem like a big deal. But remember that the scouts are what are going to be doing the siege damage here, because the Horse Archers have got absolutely no siege damage. It is barely anything. And take a look at this. We're going to be seeing a Burgave Palace coming up. So a little bit of a flip coming through here. We've got the Holy Roman Empire player not focusing on relics, the Rus player focusing on relics. I guess it's somewhat par for the course for the Rus player, but not always. We have seen a lot more recently, players avoiding the Abbey of the Trinity and going for the Hydrate House. But now working down that furthest relic wall, as I guess as you would expect, especially when he's got these numbers out. But I'm kind of curious to see exactly how Voldemar plays this, whether he goes into a whole bunch of spears. I suspect it's probably going to be spears, but men-at-arms are going to be a little bit more effective against those horse archers. Keep that in mind, that the horse archers do have quite a bit of damage. And with the spears not having any ranged, or at least any base ranged armor, they're going to get absolutely melted. But I guess with the spears, obviously, they do get quite a good counter. But let's have a look and see. It looks like it's going to be a mix. So he's moving into spears and men-at-arms. So really looking to split the infantry. And another thing to note, my levels, I've done a little bit of a level check, but I was kind of fearful. Because in the early game, like, you start off, your levels are quite reasonable. Like, I'm talking about my volume levels for anybody wondering. But that's because the music is quiet, right? There's not a lot of voices. You wait until the late game starts when the bombards start firing, dude. I reckon they're going to drown me out pretty damn quickly. So let me know if it gets too loud in the late game, and I'll make sure I fix it up. Because this is... let me check the date right now. Hold on. I'm just going to lean over to my laptop. Friday the 10th of May. There you go. Friday the 10th of May. It's currently, I think, about 8:30 in the evening, where I am here in Manila. But, yeah, there you go. So we're live right now. Live from Manila. This is us. We're down here on the ground. Emergency repairs coming through on the mining camp, as expected at this stage of the game. Interesting to note, no units really pushing out towards that position just yet. Men-at-arms and spears coming through. I can feel myself missing a couple of things. So I'm missing, like, the production queue over here. I was looking for it. I'm like, wait, where's my production queue? There we go. Now we got the veterancy coming through for the spearman. Only going to take 10 seconds for him because, of course, he's got that Burgave shining. But Relics numbers are starting to really go in favor here of Louis MT. And I think this is really well recognized by Voldemar. I'm kind of curious to see how this will play out in the late game, though, because you've just kind of given up all the relics and said, yeah, Rus player, I'll let you take all the relics. But at what cost? You know, like, sure, you've been able to go on 2 town centers, but the damage that's going to be brought from that 2 town centers is going to be mitigated by the relics. And I can only assume that Louis is going to be thinking about dropping down a second, maybe even a 3rd town center once he's in a decent spot. So maybe Voldemar's got a window that he can push or look to push in late castle. Maybe mid to late castle is probably his only window. I'm trying to think of, like, when his biggest tempo advantage is going to be, and I feel like that's probably it before the 2nd town centers start paying off. Because remember, the relics, as soon as they get picked up, are pretty much going to be instantaneous. Dude, I want to apologize in advance to everybody because I know what we're looking at right now. If this is on my screen, I can't imagine what you guys are seeing on the recording, but I feel like I've just managed to plug a HDMI cable into a potato somehow and managed to get it all working. By the way, can we talk about this wall that is going on? Like, we've got ourselves a triple natural wall coming through. I'm 99% sure that is fully walled, even though, you know, I like to say never trust a wall. But 99% sure that is completely walled off. And that's going to be the 5th and final relic now picked up here for Louis MT. So, oh, you hear that little audio dropout right there? It's like audio ducking, I think. But I don't know why it's happening. But there it is. That's the 2nd TC coming online now. So realistically, the difference between these two is going to be 18 bills. That's pretty much it. When it comes to the late game, I mean, Voldemar could look to play into a Swabia. I don't think it's really going to be that relevant, opening with 2 TCs. Like, you're just not going to get the same amount of value that you can out of it. And I really wonder what the decision was from Voldemar into going for that 2nd TC in the Feudal Age. Maybe I've just been out of the meta for a little bit of a while. Archers now teeing off. Spearman, men-at-arms running up, able to take down a couple of scouts here, and you can see the micros coming out from Louis. Nice little job there, picking off one of the men-at-arms. Meanwhile, behind this, as suspected, we do see the 3rd town center going to be thrown down here as well. I definitely agree with this. I think he's definitely in a position to do this. He's managed to pick up all the relics. He's got out a good set of military units here. And now he's going to start walling up behind this. So I 100% agree with Louis and the way that he's looked to play this. Unfortunately, we see that warrior monk go down immediately. He's going to try his best to try and kite out of this stealth forest. Does get a little bit tough to see exactly what's happening in here. Scout going to go down as well. Continuing to kite backwards. All 3 sacred sites now going to get picked up. And Sacred Victory is approaching. But keep in mind, this isn't a realistic Sacred Victory, right? Like, there's no real chance this is happening. He's going to look to deny these sacred sites pretty shortly. So don't think too crazily of it. He's just picking up the gold. That's all it is. Anyway, let's check in, because he's still gathering up stone. He's only got a couple of villages on it. I don't think there's going to be a 4th town center. I feel like going 4 TCs is probably a little bit too crazy. You probably want to spend that wood on farms and spend that stone on keeps at this stage of the game. But the 3 TCs definitely makes a lot of sense for me. Yeah, one of the things I noticed, like, if you have a look here, like, we'll go back into the base. It looked like the farms kind of took a while to load in. Oh, hello. What do we got here? We got ourselves a little bit of a run by. Voldemar in a bit of trouble. Villagers going down. That's going to be the first one. Second one of the game. Hold on. Wait, was that not a villager? That was a spearman. I take it back. Might have even been an archer. He's working them down, though. You can see that. He's lost out 4 cavalry units now. Into the back of the base, just kind of chilling out. He's going to be careful because we can hear that wall tapping away on the bottom side. A single wall segment. He might pick off a couple of builds here, but at what cost? If he loses out this army, keep in mind he's 3 TCs behind it, but this could be really big trouble here for Louis. Archers will now move into position. He's managed to corner all of these cavalry units in the bottom side of the map. Meanwhile, towards that top side, we do see a little bit of a counter raid coming through. It's men-at-arms, spring-on emplacements through on the Kremlin. Couple of gremlins here to help out. Wall comes through. Still this same wall from before. And it's just a whole bunch of archers that are going to be looking to clean this up, doing a wonderful job with it as well. More men-at-arms just being chased away by the gremlins. And slowly and steadily, Louis is losing out on that army number. Have a look at this. 40 up against 20. So to me, this makes the most sense as to the timing push for Voldemar. I feel like now is the perfect time for him to attack. I don't think going to Imperial is going to really work, because by the time he goes to Imperial, the 3rd TC for Louis will have played its part. He will have caught up with the economy. And I feel like it's just going to be one of those things where if you go Imperial here as the Holy Roman Empire, it's just going to be a case of, well, your opponent will just, like, Louis will just follow him up, and he will just manage to out-eco him because he's got the 5 relics, which will just guarantee him control throughout the game. Now, let's talk a little bit about resources as well, because as it gets later on into the game, oh god, have a look at that gold right there as it was loading in. Jeez, those assets can take a while with the GeForce now. Definitely not the best advertisement for it, Microsoft. Apologies, guys. But have a look at the gold spawns here. It kind of looks a little bit crazy right now in favor of Louis MT, but I think that might be because he's got more units that are kind of pointed out towards this side of the map. Anyway, Sacred Site now going to be neutralized. The one safe Sacred Site, or at least safe quote-unquote, for Voldemar is still the one that's being contested or being held here by Louis in this corner. Meanwhile, he takes down 1 villager on that over on that Sacred Site on the east side, and the army numbers in the middle now really starting to build up to 41 archers here for Voldemar as he begins to push through, picking up upgrades as well. Not only has he got Bloomery, he's got the 2nd tier coming through. It's going to be decarbonization on the way. A couple more men-at-arms raiding into the backside. I'm feeling like Louis might be looking at Siege here. Do we see a Siege Workshop coming out shortly? I feel like it's going to happen. Because, I mean, maybe it's just because I've got God mode and I'm like, yeah, I see a big mass of archers. You know what that means, right? It means that we need to kill them. So maybe that's where he goes. I feel like that's probably the best direction. And I wouldn't be surprised as our audio ducks in and out like crazy. Oh, I tell you what, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this, boys. There was a part of me that was really hoping I would be able to record while I was traveling. Because my plan was, because at the moment, I think I've got about like 1 video for every day that I'm away. And my plan was to do 2 videos a day and just kind of like, you know, cast a game and then like post it up basically. But I don't know if that's going to be possible here. Just watching this and just even on my end, the quality from it feels like it might not be up to par, at least for me. But I don't know. I don't know. You let me know what you think. Anyway, we'll continue watching as the Lunch Connector looking to make ends meet over here, pushing through the stealth forest. Louis MT forced back. Now Voldemar takes control, wrestles control of all this gold. And that's another thing to note is you've got so much gold concentrated on this corner of the map. In fact, have a look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 gold mines right here. I'm counting those big gold mines twice. If you could put a keep down over on this side and manage to deny all these resources from your opponent, like where does he go for gold? Like genuinely, where does he go for gold? He's got, well, I mean, he did get 5 relics stronger. And he does have 2 sacred sites. And there is gold on your side of the map that he could possibly take. And he does have gold in his own base with 2k left in it. But I do have a point, though. I do have a point. I I wonder if that gets recognized, though. Because that could be a real key factor here. When it comes to the late game, one of the big things is looking to control resources, looking to control the gold, both in FFA and in 1v1. That's a big factor. So I wouldn't be surprised if he does look to try and convert over towards that. But we do have the farm transition now well and truly coming through. Have a look at the size of that farm transition. I think we got to get ourselves a little picture of that one right there. Holy Roman Empire back in form. But let's check in over on the other side, because we did see more farms coming down around those secondary town centers. Not the best, I say not the best position, but they're technically right next to the hunting cabin that's back here, so I will allow it. I will permit it. A little bit of a military advantage at the moment. I don't know if you guys have been paying attention, but Voldemar, he's about double the population, military population of his opponent. Oh, that wall going down, though, wasn't the prettiest of sounds. He's going to start pushing forward. I tell you what, every second of this game that goes on makes me regret buying a MacBook and kind of wishing I bought a Lenovo Legion instead. Oh, man, I was really thinking about it. Now I'm like, you know what? I probably should have done it, man. Gremlins get cold at the town center. Ledge Connect get big hits off on it. We're going to pull back into that cinematic mode right now as Louis looks to defend the position. Keep in mind the military advantage significantly in favor of his opponent at this stage of the game. Beautiful little position that he's got here, though. Keep in mind, this is exactly where the Rus wants to defend, underneath this town center. With the way that the farms are, it just allows him to get a really good surrounding. Not sure what quite happened right there. Spear's now going to be coming into reinforce. Lance connector as well. But the archers, unfortunately, just being eaten alive by everything. I'll be honest, man. I did not expect this result coming out from that. When you're talking about such a difference in those military populations, you got to wonder where it all went. Does he just have like 46 prelates sitting back home? I mean, he does have 7 prelates back home. And I guess that makes a little bit of a difference, but still, like, Louis just won convincingly in that fight. It wasn't even close, in my opinion. But maybe it's those knights, or maybe it's just the archer numbers. Like, archers are good in the early castle age, but once you start talking mid-castle, they really start to fall apart. And Mangos are much more effective against this mass of horse archers, but he's going to continue fighting his way through it. We can see not only does he have these warrior monks buffing up all the units, but he's also got the knight. Boyar's Fortitude has come through, and he's actually utilizing triple Boyar's Fortitude right now. So Boyar's Fortitude, for anybody who doesn't know, is the technology available at the blacksmith for the Rus. It's unique to the Rus. Let's see if we can find that blacksmith. There it is on the front, down in this position. And it adds a flat bonus of health to every single cavalry unit. You can see it down here, 25 for the horse archer, 25 for the knight, 25 for the warrior monk. Also adds 25 for the scout. And you can see he's just taking full advantage of that here because all of these units are picking up that bonus. So definitely, it's a small bonus, but it does start to add up as you've got larger and larger armies. It becomes more deeply felt. But now, both players starting to continue adding in more and more units. Have a look at this. Both of them going just pedal to the metal. And I think this was it, right? Like, Voldemar kind of identified when his timing was, and I think he made the right call. I apologize about that audio ducking. I tell you what, that's going to drive me crazy every time that happens. Spearman moving forward now. And I think this is the right call. I feel like he should almost be moving into 100% Spearman. Look at the pathing, though. Oh, absolutely terrible pathing. Conga lining into... Oh, my lord. Excuse me. Into the back line. Goes around the Kremlin. I tell you what, there is a horse archer in here that was meant to be going down, but those spearmen unfortunately didn't make it to their target. Prelates do get pulled up to the front of the fight, and you can just see how much Louis is overwhelming his opponent, despite that advantage that Voldemar has got when it comes to the military count. And I can't help but feel like the pathing definitely contributed to it, but not just the pathing contributing to it. I also want to bring out the fact that it was his decision to take that fight, right? Like, he took the decision, or made the decision to take that fight in this position, and as a result, he loses that significantly. All right, I'm thinking, what if we turn this down? If I turn this down, I don't know if that turns it down for you guys, though. It turns it down for me, because it's turning down my headset, but I think it still passes through like 100% volume to you guys. I think that's controlling my volume and not the Windows master volume. Because I was like, okay, I can see like the levels for in-game are kind of getting pretty high right now. Maybe we should turn it down. I could try alt-tabbing, but that's kind of scary to me because I'm on a Mac as well, and I really don't know this system that well. I'm just going to start screaming. I'm just going to start screaming. Can you guys still hear me? Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord. Massive cavalry defense, though, coming through from Louis right now. We got to get ourselves a bit of a cinematic here. Can I rotate the camera? I can rotate the camera. Not the prettiest, though. I tell you what, it isn't smooth. Attack sirens going in on the background. I'm fighting right now. I can feel myself fighting. I'm going to try and alt-tab real quickly. Let me see if I can do it. Oh, I did it. Oh, we're going over here. I'm going to lower this down a little bit. Okay, hopefully that should make it better. Okay, let's see if that works. Do this. Hopefully that makes it a little bit softer, because I know I asked you guys earlier, but I didn't get any response from you guys, because this is, well, we're not really live on Twitch. This is for YouTube, right? I'm recording this. You guys aren't really here. Mango Split's coming in. Have a look at that. Mango's not only available in the Philippines and Queensland, Australia, also available for the cemetery, as one of them goes down. Second one arrives. Nice little splits, though, coming through from Louis. Well and truly aware of the presence of the Mangonel. Nice little outpost here from Voldemar as well. We'll have a look at his line of sight and see just how much he spots out with that outpost. You can see he gets perfect vision of the battlefield. Something really important to do on this map in particular is get your outposts up on the edge. You got to treat it like FFA and just make sure you got outposts absolutely everywhere. You can see Louis is doing that as well. He's pushed up outposts all the way to his enemy's walls just to make sure that he's got perfect vision. We can see over on this west side he's going to be doing the same thing. A little bit of a push still coming through here. Voldemar at 131 Vils and Spasskaya Tower now going to be coming down at the front of the base as well. Now, for me, in my mind, I feel like the best place that this could be coming down is not at the front, but instead would be over towards this east side, because this is where I feel like the final frontier is going to be. I feel like if you throw the Spasskaya, say, somewhere about here-ish, I don't know, just to try and help defend, maybe even over on this position, because that's the main point you want to be attacking, right? But I mean, I say that, but we've seen Voldemar twice now push in directly into the town center, so maybe Spasskaya in this position does make the most sense. So we'll have to keep an eye out on that. Apologies, still loading my hotkeys right here. Yeah. Age up comes through. Louis MT, now breaching the Imperial Age. Which upgrades do we see coming through? Looks like he's going to be moving into mounted training, as well as the elite horse archers. We see Tithe Barns coming through, and looking to pick up Castle Watch, of course, over on one of his wooden fortresses over here on the west side. Get a little bit of an increase there into his line of sight. But nice little trap coming through. Elsbach Palace going to be coming in for Voldemar. Interesting decision. He's going for the middle sacred site. Not a big fan of this. Once again, I feel like the main attraction, for me at least, is going to be this gold that has decided to render in about 4 seconds too late. Never mind, we got it in the end. But yeah, it is... we're getting there. We're getting there slowly. Do I actually... I'm thinking right now, do I just go out and buy a Lenovo? I spent like 3 grand, 4 grand on this laptop thinking it would do it. Maybe I just go buy another laptop. Maybe that's the play. That's probably the play here. Because GeForce Now ain't going to work. I can tell you right now. I'm not feeling this at all. I think it's just... Oh, yeah, you can hear that sound. Ooh. You know what? I think I'm going to do it. I think I'm just going to go buy a laptop. It's kind of weird just buying another laptop and being a guy with 2 laptops and traveling. But I think it's got to be done here. All right. Counterattack coming out over on this west side. And you can see that Louis is looking to put the pedal to the metal in this late game. Elite upgrades are starting to come through for the Horsemen as well. Take a look at this. Meanwhile, towards that east side, still running around Voldemar. Keep in mind behind this, and this is actually such a smart move. With this Spasskaya in the base, it basically says you can't counterattack me. Like, you can counterattack. You're just going to die if you do it. Whereas, if we look at Louis is just able to counterattack with impunity right now. Stonewall's attempting to come up here from Voldemar on the backside, but there's no chance that these are all going to get up in time. Not to mention the fact that he's not stonewalled anywhere nearly enough to defend this position. Keep's going to be coming up over on the east side. As we correctly identified, resources equals important. Now, meanwhile, towards that middle, Louis MT. Still rallying more and more units out. Going to try and get a stonewall up here. Could look to siege it down, but I don't know if... I feel like you can. They feel like that you can as well. But unfortunately, they cannot. Man, I don't know. I don't know, dude. I don't know. It looks pretty close. It's because it's lost a little bit on it, so it just doesn't look normal. Oh, that's quite sad, actually. All right. Meanwhile, towards this east side, the push continues. Spearman numbers starting to increase here. Elite upgrades have finally come through. Yet to pick up those +3 upgrades. We can see they're on the way for Louis. He's going into angled surface for a little bit more ranged armor. Obviously, the archers are still out here on the map doing damage. Meanwhile, Voldemar going to be moving into reinforced defenses, looking for a little bit of health, extra health rather, on those walls. Now continuing to push forward. Wait, I'm just thinking out loud here. It's like, Wait, if I actually go and buy a laptop, that means I'm going to need to buy new hardware for my microphone as well. Oh, God. What have I done? What have I done? Why didn't I just buy a Lenovo? Drongo, why you got to do yourself like this? Drongo, you're so crazy. You're so crazy, Drongo. You should have known a Mac was never going to do it. You got yourself too deep into the ecosystem, and now here you are, stuck a gamer. Not just a gamer, a content creator, Drongo. It ain't going to happen. Have a look. By the way, have a look at this. Like, we've got ourselves a whole bunch of horse archers just sieging down a keep, and the keep is having trouble. I mean, there's nothing here to emergency repair this. Keep in mind. So he doesn't get that free stone. He's going to have to pay through the tooth, through the nail, through the foot. How do you pay for things when they're really expensive? I feel like it's through the tooth. You're going to have to pay through the tooth for this bad boy. Vills come out. Immediately we see Louis move in to take those villagers out. I don't know, maybe he's just got the attack move command worked out perfectly here. Cleanup finally happening inside the base. Voldemar's going to have to think about getting more stone walls up, but it is going to be trouble for him, this is for sure. Keep coming online. I say coming online. It's the Springwood emplacement was coming online. A couple of units out to help right now. This is the time where he needs to pop the Vills and try and get this repair online. You can see everybody else. There we go. He pops them out. Everyone else is attacking onto these spears, onto the men-at-arms. And now the Vill's going to be focused down, able to keep the castle alive for a little bit longer. Meanwhile, towards the top side, we do have a bit of a push coming through. Remember, Spasskaya does exist and will potentially prevent any attack inside the base. Elite upgrades now coming through on those knights as well. Meanwhile, down towards that bottom side, the keep manages to come online. Still needs to pick up the slate and stone construction. That'll really help him out, give him a little bit of extra fire armor against these elite units. In the middle of the map, though, the Elsbach stands strong. Doesn't really achieve much, though, right? Like, especially you're not even holding the sacred site, so it's really not that amazing. Elite upgrades on the spears are through, but remember, no elite army tactics just yet. Still getting all of these bonus damage upgrades as well from the Saint's Blessing, which is really, really nice. And now we start to see the militia coming through here as well. Keep standing strong over towards this eastern corner. Plenty of gold still out here. Hasn't been denied away from him. When it definitely... I feel like it could have 100%. I mean, maybe I'm just a little bit crazy thinking that you'd Elsbach in the corner like that. But, you know, that's how I feel when it comes to that sort of thing. I'm a big fan of just throwing random Elsbachs out over there. You don't have a king. You don't need to worry about putting that in the back corner. You can throw that bad boy out any way you like. Meanwhile, Horse Archer numbers continuing to build the hero of this game, the story that we saw since the Castle Age. And have a look at this. They popped their little bit of galloping right there. They're moving at max speed with increased weapon range. 7.5 tiles of range. These guys shoot further than longbows. Unfortunately, we've got... Where is our frames going? It says that we've got 60 frames per second. I don't believe it. You can kind of see it right there in the top left-hand corner. Oh, man, this is one of the most scuffed casts I think I've ever done. All right, we got to get ourselves a cinematic right now. Longer range than a longbow. You heard it here first, folks. 7.5 tiles of range. But I think it's on a cooldown. You got to remember that. So I think they've got, what, is it 6.5 base? Let's double check. We're selecting a whole bunch of knights. 5.5 tiles of base. And then it goes up to 7.5. That's an awful lot, man. 7.5. But I guess it is only for a short time, right? They get to gallop. What's the cooldown on this as well? Activate to move at maximum speed with +2 tile weapon range for 8 seconds. It doesn't say... Oh, what is the... We got to watch from the perspective of Louis. And then it should say the cooldown. No, it doesn't say the cooldown. Let's just keep an eye on them, though. He's just slowly picking up the units, man. One by one. Spearman. Yet to pick up that elite army tactics. You can see Voldemar's really starting to struggle with gold. Keep in mind, at this stage of the game, okay, 5 relics in the possession of Louis MT for the last, what, 20 minutes? So you're talking 400 gold every minute for 20 minutes. That's a lot of gold. And there it is, the gallop coming in now. He's going to be picking up that extra range, firing off down the middle. Remember that he also goes to 2.0 movement speed, which apparently is the max movement speed, even though I've seen the Khan definitely move faster than that. Now these horse archers together. Oh my god, there's way too many units here. There is way too many units here. Ladies and gentlemen, that is going to be it. It's your first cast on the MacBook Pro. Unfortunately, I am a pro. The MacBook, not so much. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll leave it there. I'll link Voldemar down in the description below. And of course, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Hopefully, this time with next time with a Lenovo instead of a MacBook.